Hey guys, I wanted to make a short video of one of the builds I've been using on the PTR for speedforming T10. So I've seen some videos of people pushing Greater Risk with the Legacy of Nightmares Flurry, and this build is similar. I wanted to make a build that I think on live service it's going to be really hard to farm full Legacy of Nightmares Ancient gear for Tempest Rush, and then to turn around and farm a whole nother set for Wave of Lightning, Fire Bells. So I wanted to make one that used a little bit of the same gear as the Greater Rift progression Tempest Rush builds. So this is what I came up with. It's a lightning-based Tempest Rush build. This is going to be your major damage dealer, is the Tempest Rush Electric Field. I've tried a couple of the other Tempest Rushes. I think this is probably the best. Flurry does better damage, and you can use it to one-shot elites, but the problem is you can't really stop and pick up gear because you have to keep channeling the whole time, so it's not very good for farming. On my left mouse I've got Mystic, I have Air Ally just for Spirit Region. I hardly ever use it. If you get super low on Spirit you can use it, but that probably will never happen. This is just for Spirit Regeneration. It does very little damage. Movement speed here with Annihilation on Mantra of Conviction. These two skills here, Blinding Flash and Epiphany, are going to be pretty important to the build. So Blinding Flash here is going to, it's a little bit of a damage buff, but it's mostly used to trigger your Caesar's Memento, which is a huge Tempest Rush damage buff when you blind, freeze, or stun enemies. So one of the other things, so I noticed when you're using this, there's going to be times when it's on cooldown and it's not going to be up. So what I noticed was this skill, the Ascendancy with its chance to stun, is actually up most of the time. Unless you're in a gigantic pack of like 20 or 30 mobs, you're going to hit pretty much everything with this. So I use Blinding Flash when I'm in around elites or in big packs, and I use just Epiphany as passively up the entire time. As far as passives, they're mostly movement speed and damage. So you have Fleet Foot and then Beacon of Etar for some cooldown. I think these are the two best DPS passives, Momentum, and then Relentless Assault, because everybody's going to be blinded, frozen, or stunned the entire time. The other one that I have is Determination. I just happen to have that on Ancient Hellfire. There are some other options you could use if you didn't want to use that. Unity is okay. And then if you needed more Spirit, which I doubt you will, you can use Exalted Soul. You can also use Guardian's Path. I think this is probably better, and in the end you'll be fine on Spirit. You won't need anything. So to go over the gear, this is pretty standard gear. Lightning damage here on your Eye of the Storm. You'll probably have this from your static builds. We set an Ancient Hellfire with probably Dex crit, chance crit damage. Lightning would probably be better than Dex if you can get it. The new Mantle of Channeling shoulders with probably, you'll probably want cooldown reduction and some resource cost if you can get it here. The gloves don't really matter. Probably Gloves of Worship would be ideal, but you could use anything. You could even use crafted penders. That'd be fine. Gold Wrap, because the Gold Wrap is going to trigger the boon of the Hoarder, so those two are going to basically give you enough mitigation to never die. Legacy of Nightmares, I think probably ideally you'll want Dex, crit damage, crit chance, but you can probably take whatever you can get. These should be Ancient Hexing Pants. I just don't happen to have those. Crudus Boots, it's going to double your Spirit Regen from your Mystic Ally. And then you're wanting a balance with probably damage rolls. I have another one down here that I was able to roll to life on hit, and it doesn't. I don't ever die. You don't need the life on hit, so you don't need cooldown reduction here. You could pretty much use anything pure DPS here. That works just fine. In the cube, you've got Engium just to help when you kill elites to reduce your cooldowns and keep your Blinding Flash up as much as possible. These are just movement speed. Every time you break anything, you'll be moving even faster, which you do a lot because of the radius of the Tempest Rush Lightning. And then this, again, just helps with your cooldowns. Keep your Epiphany up 100%. You can look, here's my stats. There's nothing really exciting here. Okay. So let's show you some gameplay. You can see how often the Epiphany buff is up. You can see it down on the buff bar right here. It'll be up the entire time. Okay. Let me find some elites. You can see I'm pretty much one-shotting everything. Okay, so here's some elites. I'll blind them. They're down. So you can see the build kills elites pretty quick. It destroys trash. If, as you're leveling, you don't have enough damage to kill elites, one thing that you can do is you can put a furnace instead of the Engium. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, and I think this plays smoother, so this is what I would recommend. But you know, if you're not a Paragon 1000 yet, and as we're kind of starting again on the next season, that might be a kind of a bridge build. Another thing that you can do also that I've kind of played around with is you can replace the blinding flash, because you don't need blinding flash. Like, it's not absolutely necessary. Your epiphany will be up most of the time anyways. You can replace that with Breath of Heaven Zephyr for the movement speed. This is just a little downtime here. That will actually give you another 30% movement speed buff, and it is huge. It's a huge buff. It's almost, honestly, I think it's unplayably fast. It's almost hard to keep up with what's going on. I think this is, again, a little bit smoother and easier to play, so that's what I would recommend. But there's certainly a place for that if you wanted to use it or try it out. I mean, you can see I'm just mowing through elites here. It's nice when you get down to just the elite. The balance procs it's 100% crit chance, and it just helps you mow them down even faster. One thing that might help with this build, if you have just a little bit of gold pickup radius, so that way you don't have to circle back as much to pick up gold. And that's the other nice thing, is this will be a gold farming build as well, which will be useful for all the empowered rifts that you do. So that's pretty much it. Pretty fast. I think it's comparable to Wave of Light, maybe a little bit slower than Fire Bells, but pretty close. Alright, hope you guys enjoy the build.